Just how long's the show that be to?
Good evening, LGFA. Bryson66 back here with you guys on a Wednesday afternoon as we are just about wrapped up with bidding here. I've got a new crew joined with me tonight. I've got Respect My DMR back as my he'll be reading off my questions later off in the show, helping me out. I've got our Players Association president, Bottomless Pit. We've got our article, our genius of a writer, Nubsy, and we've got our media team, another media team guy that's pretty new to the ropes of the media stuff, but he's an owner as well. Express the Boss. How you guys all doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good.
All right. Not everyone's too talkative.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll get everyone going.
Good.
Let's go, boys. Come on. All right. So,
Thanks for having us again, Bryson.
absolutely. You guys did a good job on the other night, so figured I'd bring you back. You're on we're putting you on a one-time contract till you finally prove yourself. So, we're just about done with bidding. I think, what's our numbers, Pitt? You're the numbers guy. We've got about 20-some spots left open, maybe less.
I was looking at them earlier. It was, it was just essentially right at 20, and that was before a couple of them went through a little bit, not actually maybe within 15 minutes or half an hour ago or something like that, but roughly we're looking at 20. We've got about 7 still going. And then, of course, there's the hot topic as of late, the blind bid that everybody's waiting for.
Yeah, the blind bid. So let me explain that to everyone that doesn't understand it. The blind bids is going to occur at the end of bidding. So I have bidding to close Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. As soon as that closes, all owners are allowed to send a PM to the group of people, basically stating who they'd like to place a blind bid on. During those 24 hours, once you place that bid, you're done. You're in. You're locked in. And you can only use the money that you have left over. You can't just say, I want to throw $10 million on this guy. The team with the highest bid wins that player. If there's a tying bid, it's the person who sent the message in first. We've got 4 people in the blind bids. And it's D-Lo, L19L, D Stefano X, who's one of our BOGs, Collier, and Psych Smoke Barbecue. The reason for the blind bidding is due to an issue we had with Watford to start bidding. And I could go into a long story with everyone on what exactly happened, and I'm sure some people want to know what happened. TLDR version is that Wing Zero fucked up bidding and said, I'm wasting my time, I don't want to do this. I'll let you know if I want to quit tomorrow. Well, we decided, no. Waiting is so season 5 LGFA, that season 6 LGFA acts right away on situations that we don't agree with. And we took action right away, and thankfully for Taco, he stepped up to be an owner. Unfortunately, we lost a good staff member as well in the process.
Yeah, but it's good we can have a guy like Taco that's willing to step up and say, this guy's leaving, I'm down to take over ownership.
Yeah, so basically the reason why we have the blind bidding now is we had to remove those bids. And in order to remove them, we had to remove them completely from bidding, which is unfortunate. It kind of makes the bidding pool list a little more shallow and not as many players to bid on. But it still gives those owners the opportunity. So I think that's why we see a couple roster spots open, but a lot of teams with empty roster spots. So they're taking a big gamble with these blind bids. If it doesn't work out, they're going to have to go to random assignments, which not always a bad thing. But I've told all owners that you're allowed to have an incorrect roster size through preseason, as long as it's correct before the first game of the season, which is a week from this Sunday.
Right.
So, so that's that. I kind of want to just get that out of the way and let everyone know what happened there. So we have Boss on the show, not so much to be a media guy, but to be interviewed. We figured, why not interview one of the owners that experienced bidding for his first time in leagues. Like I said, Boss is a new guy. I'm pretty excited about him as an owner. Boss, what was it like? I know when I first did bidding as an owner, it was a lot to take in, and it became stressful at sometimes. How did you take it this season?
So it was very like new to me, so I just went off my gut feeling basically about the people I tried out, the people I already know in the pool, and I just went with my gut feeling and just was like, okay, who had the best chemistry? Because for me, I think running a good team, no matter how talented one person or the other person might be, you need to have chemistry. It is a team sport. So if the one person just want to show off, just wants to play for themselves, it's not the type of person I usually go for. I look for team-based guys. So once I want to do whatever it takes for the team to conquer.
Yeah, and one thing I'll hand it to you too is that you picked up a lot of your guys, which is good, but you also picked up a lot of guys that are experienced in the league, and you also picked up some guys that are versatile, can play anywhere.
Yeah.
And one, I mentioned him before, Zulu. He's a good kid. I played with him in other leagues. He can play any position fairly well, and when you have a player like that, it goes a long way as an owner, especially when you're trying to field 11 positions every night.
Yeah, I was actually my AGM told me about him, Dr. F Bomb. He told me he's like, yo, I played with this guy, Zulu. He looks like an awesome goalkeeper. He could be either a backup, and he played defense also pretty well. So you should really look into him. And I did some little research. I see some videos, and then I was like, oh, okay, this guy definitely seems pretty good. So him, and I played with Respect a couple of times, and I liked how he played. And from there, I played with Cubs low last season with Chelsea. There's a couple people I played with, like, I've seen play since last season. I'm happy I played last season because as like a regular player, so I could have that opportunity to just see how like most people play with each other, see the rhythm. So it really helped with my decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. It does take being a good owner does take a little bit of experience and knowledge of the community. Pitt, is there anything you'd like to ask, boss?
I guess just in general, I'm curious. You're a first-time owner, right?
Yes.
Did you find that there were guys that you were bidding on that maybe you were without necessarily naming names, but people that you were somewhat uncertain of, but still gave them the benefit of the doubt? What kind of insight can you give us about your more
Some
less confident bids?
let's see. Some people are just is less confident bids. That's definitely on my team, but it's more or less confident in the sense of them being available than being skillful. You understand? So I understand when it comes to this, you need to be available, right? You need to make yourself available, and I see them, and then I was like, okay, they're really good, but I don't know their availability as well, or from what I've told, they might not show up, or bad rep. But I seen the talent, and I was like, and he plays well with the team, so I seen the chemistry, and I was like, let me take a risk on him. He might pan out to be a good player.
Any winning team is going to have to take a few risks in order to succeed. Um, Respect. Any questions for your new owner?
Yeah, man. Boss, I played with some of the people on the team. I played with you, of course. The roster you have right now, how far do you expect your team to go this season?
For sure, top five, hands down.
Love it. I love it. That's you. Did you hear me on my last show, boss? Like I'm pulling for you, buddy. Don't let me down.
No plans on letting you down. There's a lot of people, and then for what happens with the chat box, a lot of trash talking. People talk about there's a lot of owners that's not picking up like veteran guys and everything. I'm like, yo, and then I said it in the chat box very like modestly, and I was like, listen, some Nino wasn't Nino overnight. Like Nino was a nobody, and no one knew, but Neymar was a nobody. So you can't judge a person or just an owner by his picks if you don't even know how the person is even gonna play. So let's wait until halfway to the season to criticize me. Tell me I did a bad job. I'll take it, you know. But don't criticize my players that you not even know
You don't even
who
know yet.
what they're capable of.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because that's the beauty of being an owner is discovering what a player can be at what position. Everyone knows Tebow very well. Some not in a good way, but Tebow actually used to be a left back for the longest time. Always played defense, and the one time in my club, in one of the leagues, I decided to give him the big call up to forward, and sure enough, he ended up leading the league in goals. So you just that's the best part about being an owner, and then being right about your risky decisions.
Definitely, definitely, I think so. Those are what makes good owners. Those 50-50 choices that you have to make, and if you choose wisely, then that makes your season.
Um, yeah, absolutely.
I, I was just gonna say, I personally love hearing these conversations and whatnot, and hearing this kind of stuff come out because talking to people, helping them sign up and the rest of it, this is the stuff that really gets them hugging up on LGFA is the fact that they can come in somewhere and they're not automatically dismissed, right? Or that they can try something out that they're not really used to or maybe not so well at, but they can develop themselves and just so many angles to it. I love hearing this kind of stuff from owners and whatnot.
Yeah, that's such a great thing, especially when it came to when General Boss. I just to use him because he made himself very known that he was really new. And I played him, and I was like, yo, and I was talking to my AGM about it, and I was like, listen, he he needs a little bit tweaking, but listen, like if you get somebody and you start him up and you develop into your style of how you play, and he becomes a great like asset to you because he understands your style and your style specifically, like, and you got him for 50,000, 500,000. It looks like a complete steal. So it really is like you can take the more experienced player that knows exactly what he is, and not to like throw shade at anyone that's like experienced or anything, but some of them do have egos, and it's like working with like it's like working in like a classroom or something, if you would say. So work with somebody new that's fresh is more willing to like adapt and adjust to what you want. So like, I don't know, certain owners, and you might see it in football now, like people like that. So
Yep, absolutely. Before we let you go, I want to two more questions. One, I want to see if Nubsy has anything to say. Of course, our expert journalist has got to be the one to ask you something here.
yeah, go ahead.
Mine, I guess it's kind of a two-parter. Um, who were some players that maybe you were looking at that you didn't get, and did you maybe put you on the spot? But did you participate in any of the upbidding that was going on? Because it seemed like there was a little bit of that going around.
Outbidding, like in sense of what? What do you mean?
Jacking other players' prices up.
Yeah, trying to get
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
No, no. You see, I refuse to like partake in that. I looked at there was a couple of people I looked at. I looked at Leo Messi, really, and I looked at Nino and seen his price, and I was like, all right, nah, whoever has him can have him.
You know, went up pretty fast.
Yeah, he went up pretty fast, and then I looked at Leo Messi, Nino. Who else did I look at? Uh, I wanted Salty, but he just came. The guy, somebody who kept on bidding on him, I was like, come on. and,
That's what you call upbetting, probably.
yeah, and I was like, that was about it. I was really looking for good wingers and great defensive players, and I just seen and I like defensive players that know how to handle the ball. So it was definitely things I was looking at, and so I definitely liked Nino. I was like, yo, if he goes for under 7, I might bid on him. But once I seen him at 8 mil, I was like, oh, they can have him. That
Well,
was,
the benefit, at least it happened fast.
Yeah,
I
it
was
did happen quick. Yes, it
it,
did.
it really did because I was about to, and then I seen him at like 7. I was like, already? Jesus! I don't even. I was like, yo, before I even invest that kind of money, I gotta make my team, like, or somehow know. I can't just. I'm not the type of person to just put so much money on one player. Not no shade to you, Nino. You're a great player. I've seen you play. There's a lot playing with you, but yeah, I couldn't invest that much.
Okay, so one more question before we let you go, man. I know you're working, aren't you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on the clock.
Oh,
But
okay. All right, we'll let you go after this one last question. And it actually brewed up while we were talking here. Let's have a little call out. I enjoy competition. I enjoy a little banter as long as it's within our rules and not out of hand.
no problem.
If there's an owner that's started a feud with you, who would you consider your rivalry right now?
Ooh. Out of there's probably two, and he's probably laughing right now because I know him personally, like very personally. Like we play soccer leisurely together. Legendary Fig on Liverpool.
Yep.
So that's
Well,
one.
well, here's my problem. I'm going to scratch that one and not even count it because a rivalry has to be against a good team, and Liverpool is nothing. So let's
Ooh,
just be honest. Let's
nice.
get that straight.
Nice. You hear that, George? You hear that, George?
I'm just kidding. I love those guys over there.
That's
I
not
love
yeah.
it. I'll be excited for those questions at the end of the show. But go ahead. What's the other team though?
Yeah, the other team who is talking trash, and I think that's the team that you're on,
Oh, yeah.
Bryson.
I believe it.
Is your West Ham. He was talking. That's when he started on the chat box. And who was another one? I think Mac. Was he Swansea?
Yep.
Another person I'm interested in playing.
Well,
Yeah. So
you can.
those guys are all up there, and they have little circles around there. So don't worry, we're coming for you guys.
Well, you can ask Pitt if I have a history of having a team that trash talks. That doesn't happen often with me. Um, just kidding. So yeah, I want to thank you.
Yeah, never.
Never,
Right.
never heard anything, right, Pitt? Yeah. So I just want to thank you, boss, for coming on to the show, man. It was good talking with you, and well, from all of us here, and you're on the media team with us. Of course, we'll be talking to you, but we wish you the best of luck this season. And like I said, top five, or I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, man, this is gonna happen.
All right.
A lot of people will be surprised about Arsenal.
I look forward to it. I won't be. All right,
I
man.
can't be. I'm on the team.
That's true.
That's right, respect. Get ready for this dominance.
All right, boss. Well, you have a good one, man. Thanks for coming on to the show, dude.
No. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Have a good one, guys.
Okay.
All right, man.
All right. So let's talk as a group now, guys. Now the interview's done. We asked him what he thought of bidding, and we kind of asked him from a standpoint of who he didn't get, who he wanted. What are your general ideas and thoughts of how this bidding went? Let's start with you, Nubsy, beans we went last on you last time.
Just general thoughts about bidding. I thought it went fast. Well, I mean, a lot of guys went kind of early, all at the same time. I mean, really, with the exception of Grazer, everybody was in and out within, a day and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think guys kind of had good bid lists and knew who they wanted and went after who they wanted until they got, to that 15, 16 mark. And that's when we slowed up in the past day and a half.
I think when you look at last season, and considering that I had to remove an owner on Friday night because he wasn't bidding, that was really bad last season. But I mean, it's been really good. Minus a little hiccup with Wing Zero, and like I said, we got it fixed within an hour, and I've been incredibly happy and pleased with it.
Yeah, it was much better something like that happened than it happened, before bidding really got going. We got stuff in place. I mean,
Right.
and Taco's doing a great job getting his team together.
And one thing that I didn't do last season, and like I said, inactivity was a huge problem in my part and all of my staff's part, is I made sure I kept an eye on all of my owners. Here's an example. Crisalia is an owner from last season. Had a rough time taking over a team. He's back this season. I like his roster, the way he finished outbidding, but when he started out, even Pitt mentioned to me, hey, he's only got 4 or 5 people. I'm like, well, give him time. I've seen him on the website. I've seen him on Xbox. I've seen him running tryouts. He's got to be bidding. And sure enough, his team started filling up. So, I've kept an eye on all my owners to make sure they were active, and they were. And like I said, from preseason till now, it's been excellent. The activity's been great. The feedback's been great. I've been very pleased with how far the process has come along with bidding.
Yeah, that sounds like it just goes to show, different owners' tactics. I mean, some guys placed a lot of bids early and often, and then some other guys kind of let the mess settle out, and then started picking out their guys when they were at prices that they knew that they could get them for.
Right. Pitt, your comments on the bidding?
Um, myself, I was pleasantly surprised about how the choices were being played out and whatnot. I was very curious about how things came along, and I think it was very entertaining because there's a lot of people, guys who've been in the league and whatnot who went for cheaper. There was, of course, Bottleface and a couple that we expected to be high, and they kind of did, but not maybe higher than what we expected. There's a lot of newer people that got picked up that they're giving being given that chance that we've talked about so many times. I got to say one thing I do want to point out is the quality of the owners this season. I know you kind of touched on that right now as well.
Hmm.
Is I haven't seen anything in terms of how do you do this, how do you do that. I don't understand what this is or that is. They know what they're doing, and
Right.
there's 100 different tactics to how to handle bidding, and they're playing their game. I like what's going on, and it's been very entertaining.
Yeah. So we're talking about the owners. So let's turn over to the bidding and the price. The prices and everything. And you mentioned Bottleface, crazy 13 million. But it's funny as a commissioner, I sit there and I watch his price. I'm thinking, I really hope this owner knows what he's getting into. And then when I see it's Python, I'm relieved because Python's a guy that's been here for a while. He's 110% committed every season. And I know taking on a salary like that and filling a team with active 500K guys, he knows what he's doing. So that was probably our biggest surprise. Another interesting note, I was just, while you were speaking there, Pitt, for a few minutes, I looked, and it's funny, everyone always says, well, defense is the rarity here, along with goalie. And sure, a lot of goalies were breaking the top here. But out of 16, out of the top 16, only 4 of them were listed as defenders. And after looking at the list, they are actually the only defenders in that top 16, besides maybe Tennant being the exception, unless he is playing mid on Tottenham. But, what kind of surprises does that bring to you guys when you think of how scarce defense is sometimes, or somebody that signs up as a defender, that only 4 of them break the top 16 for bidding and price range?
Well, what I see first of all is I look at these lineups and whatnot, and I see where some of these guys ended up, and I've been looking at the defenders as well and the rest of it, but really, when you read through the lineups or the rosters, you kind of see a sort of tactic or formation, a style that they're aiming for. And you can see certain guys, like you can see 3 or 4 guys on a certain team that click together, and you can tell that that's kind of where the core of this team is going to be. So it seems to be as though I think everybody's kind of said it. People have been targeting what they want, and they're kind of being tactical about it and strategizing. Maybe they're not getting everybody they want, but they're making adjustments, and it's um, been laying down the groundwork for what we're going to see once the season gets started.
Right. Respect. I know you're pretty new to this, the FIFA side of things.
Yeah.
What even I know you come from the hockey side as well, like I do, where defense may be a little more favored as well. But I mean, does this come to a surprise as you as well?
Not really. I mean, I know teams were out there looking for their players, and whether it's a midfielder, a forward, a defender, like Boss was saying during the interview, you're looking for the guys that click well, and you're looking for the guys that you want playing for your team, and uh, it's not a surprise to see them go for the guys they want to see up top and in the mid, than rather go down and they have their guys that they're worried about down low. What I will say about bidding, I like how it went. Pretty like how guys know where they wanted to go, where they wanted to take players. Well, like I said in the last show, I wanted to see how the teams with not as filled of a roster, with let's say like a Leicester or a West Ham, and I want to say hats off to everybody in bidding. You guys knew what you were doing. You guys filled out some great teams, and I can't wait for the season to start.
I think the most impressive team through bidding has to be Newcastle. They really spread out their money.
Definitely.
Boiler Up is a good goalie. Um, he's definitely worth the 4 million considering what was available, and you know when you look at other areas that they hit on their team, I think they were really, not so heavy. For instance, a Liverpool. They spent 10 mil on Nino and had to really go thin throughout the rest of their roster. I think Newcastle did it well with getting these different pieces in each playing field. Messi at forward, they got a nice. He's an excellent. He can be a creator. He can be a finisher. The guy can do anything. He's definitely, 7 mils high, but given the availability of what was there, it's justed for that salary. Some people may laugh at me, but he, to me, can do as much as Nino can at a cheaper price.
Right.
They picked up Salantes fairly cheap, a guy that, no matter what people say, he's an aggressive CDM, can make great plays. They also picked up Drizzy, strong hand on defense. And then, like I said, Boiler up at 4 mil. Pretty much really spread the salary around very well. And I was pretty impressed with how their bidding went out of all the teams.
Yeah.
Nubsy.
I gotta ask you guys, what do you think about Vendy on Sunderland?
Surprised. Here's Sunderland, a team that I just kind of, a late handover as well. We had issues with Samatar, big surprise, and just kind of like Arsenal, they went out and got some names. They got people they trusted, and they also got some names. Just to name a few, Vendy obviously is one, Worthy one, and honestly my favorite bid that they made was Hitmit. The guy's been around for a tremendous lot of time, and depending on where he's playing, he is a very good center back. He's a very good midfielder. He can play anywhere on the pitch. So at 2 mil, 250, to have a utility player like that, I think Sunderland is in better shape than most of us would have thought they would have been after bidding.
Right. Yeah, man. Sunderland did some good moves. I gotta say I'm impressed with what they did on defense, taking Vendy with 10 mil and then grabbing Javi G for 1.250. Javi G, I watched him play in a couple of scouting games, whether it was with a Swansea or an Arsenal, and he's a very active defender, man. He can help that line back there with the other guys. Sunderland had a very impressive bidding.
And I think one more team I want to kind of applaud for here is I'm just scrolling through, but I know which one I want to come to is Lang. A lot of guys give Lang shit. Lang is at best mediocre at the games he plays, but he's a very good manager. He knows the community. He knows the rules. He's everything you want in a manager but the skill. No offense, Lang. But he picked up a lot of old-time names.
Right.
Huther, great midfielder, picked up Texas Tennant, former owner last season. Walker, another utility player, can play anywhere. Rusty Rocket, I kept telling people, not telling people to bid on him, but I was telling my owner, hey, Rusty's not bad. He only went for, I believe, 2.5, which is very cheap for someone that's been around for seasons. Strictly Hattie's a decent defender as well. I think he went out and got some really good names, and he also spent some money in some wrong places as well. But I'm not going to make those comments. I'm just going to say in general, Lang did. I think everyone did better than we thought. Like, there was no one bad team of bidding that happened. Everyone did fairly well and got even talent across the board. Nubsy, care to comment on any of these teams?
Let's see. I don't know if there's any. You guys kind of covered pretty much everybody.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry that we ruined it for you here.
No, I mean, I think you're right. It was pretty even. Like, at the start, there were some rosters I was looking at, like, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then, by another day, 2 days, they started filling out, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's not as bad as it was looking, early Monday afternoon. But, yeah, I mean,
You guys maybe want to put in a little bit of info regarding, I guess, our predictions from the first show in comparison to how they played out?
Man, I don't even remember my predictions. I'm pretty sure we said Bottleface for the most expensive player, and that was pretty much accurate. A quick GG to Python. He actually messaged me on Facebook, and after a day through bidding, he goes, Well, I really fucked this one up. He could have re-signed Bottle before this season, so and he was only 1.5 million, so that would have brought him to like 2 million. So
Yeah,
it really hurt him on that one. But
definitely.
yeah, I think everything we pretty much said was bidding was pretty predicted. Besides one or two people that went very high. I think Casey is one of them. Casey went very high. If anyone
Casey,
knows what his salary is,
what team?
I believe he ended up going to Man City.
In City. Casey.
No,
Can't even find him.
He went for Tottenham.
It's whatever.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Fine.
He went.
Yeah, he went. I can't even tell.
4,250.
There you go. 4,250. Okay, cool.
So.
Yeah,
I mean,
those top four guys, Bottleface, Bendy, Nino, and Klassen. I mean, I would guess that every owner had at least three of those guys, like wanted to get one of them on their radar at some point during, like, that was pretty much predicted. Who the top ones would be.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
very good bidding.
All right, so we pretty much covered everything we wanted to do. Last episode, we kind of just ran with it with the questions from the community. Not sure if they're rolling in already. Respect, I know you keep an eye on that for me.
No, not yet.
Okay, so if anyone's listening right now, fire away with your questions. Any questions you have, any predictions you'd like us to give out. Just trying to avoid the bidding. Who else deserves a bid? Don't want to just be throwing names out to get bids. However, I will. Some of the players that are remaining that were bid on would be Proud Gay Dad. Jake is actually quite a decent FIFA player, as well as Potato. Those two are quite active on FIFA. Potato, quite a strange character, but two guys that I'm honestly surprised they're only going now rather than earlier in bidding.
It always happens in bidding.
Yeah. For anyone here, for any of you guys, do you guys think that there's anybody that not trying to get them to get a bid for him, but is there anybody that you guys noticed in bidding that you were surprised it didn't go as much, or surprised it didn't even get a bid in general?
For myself, I was surprised that Timbo Rules went so low.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely worth any. Well, I won't say any amount of money that you can throw at him, but he's definitely a solid bid to go for.
Mm-hmm. Pitt, I hope your house isn't burning down, but yes,
Yeah,
Timbo. This interview isn't that important. You can go put the fire out. But yeah, Timbo was one that I actually noticed. Another one is Steez, who went to Manchester United.
Yeah, that's
well.
what I was going to bring up. Was went for 500.
A guy that was on Man United last season. You'd think that people would, even if nobody had absolutely no interest in him. Python's going to pick him up. Why not make the guy pay a little? Maybe Bottleface doesn't go as much then this season.
Right.
So that's something that really did catch me off guard when I was seeing these final bids go through.
Yeah, man.
You're laughing.
Oh man, this chat is always. They're all saying, they're commenting on Pitt's fire alarm over here. It's funny.
Oh.
I'll say, for one thing, Mayhem on I forget what team he went to. I think Liverpool. That was to me a steal, or Newcastle. Where did he go? Before I mess this up. Newcastle. Yeah, all right. Mayhem forward. He went for $1 million. I find that to be a steal. I've seen him play a lot. I know what he can do, and that's a great player at a cheap price, man.
Well, he's one of those versatile players too that can play in the field or in net, which is convenient when not every guy's going to be at every game. Sometimes you got to move the rosters around to get things, to get games played. So
right. Actually have something here, Bryson, from I think that was Marino. Real quick, because it ties in with what we're talking about. He wants to know, who do we think our top steals from bidding were?
Top steals, jeez. probably mentioned him already, but hmm. Wow, that's a. Go ahead, take this one first, Nubsy.
Top steals. I mean, Steeson was the clear one. I mean, he was a uh, what 7 assists in 23 games last season. Like he was the number four in assists last season.
Hmm.
So to go for as low as he did, that was one of those I think where they put the bid in on him, and everybody was so focused on other stuff that they just looked right over him.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, honestly, I know it's not much of a steal when you're looking at 7 million, but Messi, honestly, I'm excited for the guy. Um, he's like I said, just anybody that I know, he's been around for a long time. But when you're paying $3 million less than what Nino is, and honestly, I think you're getting almost the exact same quality of player. That to me is a steal alone. I guess some people just didn't know about Messi or didn't get to see him try out, but that to me, even though it's 7 million, 7 million for a player that's going to get you quite a few goals and create a lot of plays throughout the season and be the difference maker, that to me is worth a steal. Notice.
Yeah, man, totally. Sounds like a good steal. I think I already mentioned the Mayhem one. Again, Javi G for 1.2, very good defender, taken for a mil. Uh, I don't know how much King Kane went for. I hear he's like the better Neymar in the midfield.
Again, I've said this last show, and don't bring his name up. He's irrelevant.
Oh, okay, cool, great. um, where do we even go after that? That's great.
One I just came across too is Huther.
Yeah.
He's 750K for a. I'm not trying to tell people how to play the game, but when it's someone like me that loves the short, quick passing, Huther is that kind of guy. He moves the ball quick and efficiently. That's my other German man. Like he's the dude. He's good. I like him.
yeah, King Kane went for 500.
Oh, okay, that's good. And then you know what, man? The steal of the night had to be Nino Bryson. You predicted 20 mil, and that's half,
It only
man.
went for 10. Yeah, well,
That's half.
honestly, the issue there is that I'm gonna have to sit all my owners down and make sure they understand that we can't let a player like Nino go for only 10 mil. It's 20 mil, or quite frankly, I thought about just folding the season because it didn't happen.
There you go.
It was tough for me to sleep on it. That's for sure.
Well, good luck.
Let's stop before we got Nino
Good luck
feeling
for
great.
second place then.
Wow.
Uh,
Here, I'll take on. I see some of these questions coming from our chat box in the LG chat box. Smithy saying,
Okay,
What
great.
about Watford? What were your thoughts on Taco picking it up last minute? Before I pass this to anyone else, he did an excellent job. Taco knows his community. That's why it was a no-brainer to give him the ownership spot besides losing him as a staff member. You can ask Taco. I cried in my pillow for an hour and then realized I just gained an even better owner and made the league even more so competitive because he's familiar with the community. So he did an excellent job. Last minute, it was. I think we were only 2 hours into bidding, but he did a very good job given the circumstances that he did have.
yeah, definitely.
If anyone else cares to comment on Taco, or unless he's not something to talk about.
You know what? Hats off to him. That was just a great way again to step up in a time where LG needed another owner. Excuse me, but it was cool to see how he reacted to getting to owner right in the like smack down in bidding. Like he's owner and bidding's gonna start. He didn't like scout. He didn't have the time to do all that. So it was cool to see what he was gonna do. And from what I can tell, he's built a fairly decent team and a very solid team that can compete in this season. So it was awesome to see him just recover, get that ownership, and just pick up his team from where he wants to start off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's a direct reflection as well as and the way that he performs on the field and whatnot with his team and the impact he has on people, both in an immediate sense in the game as well as in the big picture for the season. So he's always a solid, and we're glad he's been around for a while, and we're glad that he was able to adjust so quickly and so willing and just flexible to do whatever's needed.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put him to explain Taco. Just a quick reminder to everybody, we're going to run this show till 10 o'clock, so any questions you have, bring them into the show. YouTube channel we prefer, but if you put them in the LG chat box, I can see them as well. Respect, just let me know if you have a question you'd like to step in with. I'll just keep going with the ones off the chat box, okay?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Okay. Steve McGee asked, will there be playoffs for the league title? We'll run it the same way we did last season, snacks. There's a standings winner, and then there's the FA Cup. So 2 separate titles, nothing that's really in one piece yet. Hopefully we get that to the future. One of our players is going to receive our Team of the Season trophy from last season. Bryson says Neymar. I'm actually working on an award that looks like a big pile of shit that I can just put in your profile. So just
There
be
we go.
patient with that.
Bryson, did he put that in the chat box?
Yes.
He put that in the chat?
Yes.
Yeah, because I told him in the YouTube chat, I said, type that in the LG chat box. Maybe they care over there.
Well, that was a good way to direct him. He just wants to FaceTime. The guy is obsessed.
Yeah.
Bryson, who do you think will be traded around?
This was just about.
Go ahead.
First team.
That's right. I was just going to ask about what's the trade parameters that we're looking at for the season for. I think there's a number of people who don't know what's happening with when people can trade and that sort of thing.
I've actually been pondering on it, and we're going to open it up the first night of preseason games. Open it all the way till the end of week. We have 5 weeks in our season. Week 5 only has 1 league night, and then the rest is cup games. And then week 4 is also like the race for the cup. So I think we're going to end it at the end of week 3. So preseason to the end of week 3 is what we're looking at.
Right. Speaking of trades, we have a question from Rune, and he wants to know first teams to do a big trade/transfer.
It's going to be Liverpool. And I'm not saying it'll be Nino.
Right.
But it's going to be, here's who I think it's going to be. It's going to be either Liverpool or even Newcastle. I'm going to throw their name in because those 2 guys they want to make sure they have the most competitive team immediately and they want to win a title. I know they do. They want it. They've definitely worked their asses off in the off season for it. So look to see these guys be active in the front office if things aren't going the way they predicted it from their bidding plans.
Right. For me, I have to go with my club. I have to go Arsenal, man. First team to do a big transfer or trade. Not to be biased about it, but if we don't have a versatile player in that midfield that can step back and play defense, we're going to have to make a trade to get another defender or 2. So I feel like Arsenal might be the first one to make a move for a defender.
I'm going to put my money on Swansea. I know McKay's always been one to know what's going around and who's available and what he's looking for and that sort of thing. And he's pretty creative with his management style as far as trades are concerned. So I don't know what he's going to try and pull, but I think he'll be the one.
Yeah, me of all people, I should probably realize that Mac is definitely knows when to pull the trigger and when not to. He definitely understands the management rules and definitely is an active guy when it comes to trade negotiations. So yeah, that's a very good one, Pitt. I tend to forget about Mac, to be completely honest. I always think of Scott and Denver on that team, and Mac's just kind of in the shadow of him. Sorry, Mac. Let's see, what else do we got here?
Real quick, let me just talk to Jimmy. Jimmy signed up late. When do the signed up people get randomly assigned? Like people who signed up late?
For most weeks, it's going to be Fridays or Saturdays.
Okay.
It depends on honestly, it depends on what we have media-wise, and I want to have that every day we're going to have something to bring to you guys, something that you have a reason to get onto the website and look forward to something, so we haven't decided, but it's definitely Friday or Saturday. It's the end of the week. For this coming, we have the blind bids happening right at the end of bidding, 8 p.m. Eastern Friday, and then running till Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I would say see the random assignments happen either Saturday night or Sunday afternoon, right before games, preseason games.
Right.
I got a question for Nubsy. Uh, Nubsy, everybody loved your initial piece and whatnot. What do you want to maybe give us in terms of a little tidbit or taste to get us hungry for your next version?
The next one, well, it's going to be kind of at least what I'm envisioning right now, is just sort of a team by team breakdown. Um, who they got, who their top players are. I've sent out messages to all the owners. I think about half have actually responded. So it's going to be just ask some typical questions and sort of journalism style, like little stories on each team. Um, and then I think with the TC part of it in, and was it one of the questions that I asked all the owners was what were the biggest surprises. And the Watford situation has come up repeatedly. I think like all but one of the owners that have responded have brought that up. So thinking of a little side piece on that, but that's still up in the air.
Yeah, praise to you, Nubsy, on the first article. It was excellent. It was good work, and it was entertaining and professionally done. Something of that level is nice to see here, and just wanted to give you praise for that.
Well, thank you. It's stuff I do every day. So
Yeah.
Guys, real quick, since the YouTube chat is calling for it, the whole Nino situation, they're saying R.I.P. Nino. Let's give like a quick 10-second moment of silence to Nino.
moment of silence. What is this? Everybody knows a lot of stuff around here. What do you think they know?
Chat, I tried.
I've got White Mamba over here blowing up my phone talking about what Bryson does and does not know.
Oh,
But-
Chat, I tried.
Hey.
Nino, you get no moment of silence. I'm sorry, but I tried.
Yeah, no,
Didn't happen.
Some of these owners are clowns. Mamba's the worst.
Yeah.
He's definitely the ringleader.
Oh, he just likes to have a little fun.
No, we enjoy him. Anything else coming from the YouTube channel there?
Nothing really serious.
Just the rip Nino.
Yeah, a lot of rip Ninos. Neymar still asking about team of the season.
I've
And
got
then
one,
just more.
I've got one here from M Ray in the chat box. How do you guys not sign going to be allocated to a team? It's a complete random assignment for this season. There's actually an idea that Mac has brought up a couple times, and just for the time being, due to everything we already have going on, Mac mentioned an idea of owners being able to bid on players that sign up late based on their money they have available. It's an idea that we're not looking to step into now, but it's definitely something for the future that we could maybe think of different ideas. But for the time being, when players sign up and that Friday or Saturday comes along, they're randomly assigned.
Yeah. Sounds good. What else do we have here? We have a lot of talk about who's running what formation and who's going to be doing well with their team in terms of their formation. We have Swansea saying they're going to have the best defensive combo in the league right now with the 3-5-2. How do you feel about that, Bryson?
3-5-2 is an excellent formation if you have the proper personnel, and that is one formation that you make a mistake, you're going to pay for it. And that mainly is targeted at the center backs and the DMs or anybody that turns it over on their half of the pitch. It's a good formation. Like I said, you've got the right guys. You will control the game. You'll have a lot of scoring opportunities and pretty much be a safe win for you every week. But like I said, there's not many people that can play that formation.
Right.
The way it needs to be played.
With that formation, it's simple. you get to control the midfield better, which I feel like it's a great thing to do in this game because passing is just key. Those short passes lead to those through balls, which get you the goals. But like you were saying, if personnel's not capable, and you have guys turning it over before you even make it to the other side of the pitch, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get back. You're running back. Your guys are gonna get tired quicker because you're running back too much. That's a possession formation, and good luck to Swansea, man. If they can run it, they can do it. Then have faith in their system. Matthew Apelli wants to know Bryson's favorite owner.
Wow, am I am I looking to like burn bridges already before?
You might have to, man. You might have to. No.
Mom is asking that question. Don't answer it.
No, I'll
Oh,
answer.
okay.
You know what? I won't say my favorite owner, but I will tell you all this. It's not the team I'm on.
Oh,
I do love Stokes. Him and I go way back, but if I'm being serious for a moment, I've definitely created a lot of nice friendships with the owners that I do have now. Boss being one of them. Besides the shit talking, Mamba's another one. I truly do really like our owners and the personalities and the activity I get from them. It's good. It's positive. I'm sure he's feeling himself up right now while I give him praise.
right.
I,
Let me or Mac in their LO interview. Scott, buddy, if we had more time, I would get you in here.
An interview, okay.
Do you want to do an interview?
Well, no.
Do we have time?
Well, no. I just not for now. I don't want to scramble it around. We have plenty of
Oh,
time.
okay,
we have
great.
plenty of shows to go through. I will say I know Python's interested. I know Scott's interested. That's awesome. I want you guys in an interview. We're going to be having my show every week, so be prepared for me to come to you guys and say, hey, let's get together to do your interview for the LGFA Access, which by the way is looking very nice. My editor is working on some nice transition clips, and I think the show's going to look really nice once we have it all set up for everyone.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Definitely. All right, Bryson, I'm going to put it back real quick to you for a question that we asked at the beginning of bidding. We couldn't really answer because rosters were filled out. Now that we have a sense more of the rosters, who do you expect to be pushing for that title come end of the season?
A lot of people always, think the returning owner that was champions are always the favored ones. Arsenal/Leicester have always been that team to compete. I think they're going to be that team to compete again. However, United being the team that won the league title last season, I do not see them competing. Too much money in a goalie. However, we did mention they got Steez and a couple real good quality guys. If I'd have to pick top three, I would have to give it to my own team, West Ham. I really like what we did, and I like the squad we have around us, guys that I'm comfortable playing with. Liverpool is going to be a team to reckon with if they can get it figured out. They have the pieces. If they put them in the right places, I have no doubt they're going to be able to win most of their games and compete as well. And the last team, difficult. I'm going to have to say Newcastle. And I know that that's a bit of a surprise to most people, but I like Casey's attitude. I definitely know he's going to do what's right for his team as far as giving everyone fair playing time, but I also know that he's going to make the right adjustments when needed to make the team competitive.
Right. That's awesome. How about you, Nubs? Who you got top three end of this season?
Top three. Liverpool was already mentioned, so I won't mention myself again. But I've got probably Leicester, Newcastle, West Ham. I think are going to be at least when I play, those are the teams I'm going to be gunning for.
Right.
Pitt, if the fire's under control.
Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fire's out. Don't worry. At least that one is. We'll see which ones start up during the season.
It lives for now.
Yeah.
I gotta be a little biased here. I really love what Casey and McCullough and Snuffer have done with our team in Newcastle. I'm really excited for the season. I think West Ham is definitely going to be a challenge. to any team at any time, pretty much. And that's not just because you're the commissioner and on that team. um, and as for the third one, I think that was going to be a little bit of a surprise. I don't know really, to be honest with you, who I would favor over everybody, but just looking at the rosters, um, um, I'm gonna say I think Watford is gonna come in there, sneak in there somehow. Um,
Another team I want to jump in on too. I just saw Solly Baby Maker ask about Crystal Palace, and that's a team for some reason I overlooked because I'm actually happy we actually have that kit now this season. Because no one picked it last season. But Klepto, I'm really excited to see how he does. He was under the tyrant known as Bachelor. Um, a lot of people claim that Bachelor did nothing, and we're going to find out if that's true or not this season. That's another team to really keep an eye out for. Honestly, all 14 teams have good stories behind them and reasons to keep an eye on them, I feel.
Bachelor did lots of things, just never the right things.
I'm not even going to go down that road. I'm just going to leave it as Bachelor,
No,
thank you for your time as owner, and see you in 10 seasons.
no, I didn't mention Crystal
I
Palace
gotta
though.
mention in the TC games, there's a shot that's now been labeled the Bachelor shot, and that's the one from the halfway
From
field.
midfield. Yeah, yeah, that's his rage shot. Yeah, no, Crystal Palace. I didn't mention they're going to be mid tier or higher. I mean, they could be a surprise. Uh, Klepto really rebuilt a lot of that Southampton team from last season, and that was a pretty successful team for the most part. Doing what we did with Bachelor on the team was difficult enough, and he's rebuilt about half of that, and then added some stuff in, some good players that we were even looking at Liverpool. So I mean that they could be a big surprise coming out up top.
Yeah, honestly, last season it was pretty easy to point out what teams would have been good and what teams aren't. But I'll tell you right now, it's tough. A lot of these teams are going to compete. I think all of these teams are going to compete at every level. It's going to be good. It's going to be a fun season. But
Definitely is.
go ahead.
No, I just said definitely is.
Yeah. So, just wanted to close it out with one more statement here, guys, before we end this show. Take a look at this thread. Look ahead. Future of LG FIFA. Obviously, the vote's pretty much favored in what I felt was going to be. We're looking before FIFA 17 to either run another season of LGFA or run a World Cup. Captains are needed. Please consider it. It's not going to be that hard. We're going to make it as simple as we can. If any stats, it's going to be basically game scores. We want to have a community. We want to play as a community and keep everyone active up until we enter FIFA 17 for our next season. If we don't go with another season in 16, so please vote, comment, give your suggestions, ideas, whether you agree with it, disagree, what what changes you would make to it. I screwed that whole word up. So just make sure you guys take a look at that and give your input, please. Any closing statements, guys, before we end this show here?
I guess the one thing I'll say, and I've been excited. I think there's kind of a different feel this season compared to last season, just with the bidding and the involvement of everybody, and there just seems to be a lot more excitement for this season, and maybe that's the media. Having not had any last year is just kind of ho hum. Watch it, nobody really talking about it, but that's been exciting to me. Is just getting the season going and seeing everybody involved. And I mean, that post, I thought it was okay. It got like almost 600 views, which was incredible. Like it had people looked at that more than like signups we had.
Yeah,
So
our media director here at LG even commented about how nice of a job you did there on that. It was very nice. Yeah, honestly, I think when you talk about the kind of support we've had, honestly, my inspiration is how the community has been. My inspiration to step up and do media, my inspiration to be a better commissioner is basically how the community reacted and how they stepped up and how the owner stepped up, and just it inspired me to do better, because if everyone else is going to do better, why can't I? and I think everyone else is saying that to themselves now, especially with how big our media team's getting. It's a very bright future for the LGFA, and I'm very happy to move forward with it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that'll, I mean, the cross-platform stuff and everything that we're doing, it's going to keep people involved
Yep.
and having a voice, and that's really when you talk about a community, that's what it's about. We're not just playing games, for 30 minutes or an hour a night. We're on the site, talking to people, and enjoying the whole experience of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if that's all we have, guys, it was another good show. I had a lot of fun. I always love talking with a couple guys and just recapping our week. And it was a good week at bidding. Look forward to the next week here. And stay tuned, guys. Season's starting. We're going to see a lot of media coming up. So everyone, stick around and
Brace yourselves.
brace yourselves. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Onslaught.
Yep. So everyone have a good night, and we'll be talking to you.